Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today with an easy twist and pop card. This is inspired by a video by Sam Calcott. She's got a few of these cards on her channel, but I found this one the easiest to follow. Not that the others are difficult to follow. And this was inspired by a post I saw on the Mixed Up Crafters Facebook page. It's a group, and a lady made this card, and I wasn't aware that this existed on Sam Calcott's page, so I investigated it and I found this video here. I just made one change. The card base that Sam Calcott uses uses a 12 by 6 card base, but I don't have that. I cut mine from an A4 piece of cardstock, so mine now measures 11.5 by 5 3/4, and I scored it in the middle at 5 3/4, which then gives me a card that is 5 3/4 square. I also have cut 3 mats, as you can see the patterned cardstock in the background. This is from a paper pack. Let me just show that to you. It's another one of these from B&M that I bought quite a while ago. This one's got loads of colourful pages, but they're not full pages. So this bit here was actually just a panel that was 6 by 12. So I cut a little bit away on either side, cut it in half to have these mats, which are 5.5 square. And then from a different page in there, but because it was also sort of rainbow colours, I cut this bit here. I've also stamped and coloured in all these Care Bear images. For the front, I picked a heart-shaped thing, and for the inner, I've got 4 different little pictures. The white cardstock here measures 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and the silver holographic background piece, this one measures 2.5 by 3.5, and you need 4 of these. The card that Sam Calcott made in her video, she did one for the new year 2020. Funny how, though, when we look back now, how 2020 wasn't a good year at all for the world. But yeah, quite interesting. So I, just as to let you know, I cut these pieces first and then I stamped them, because I thought it was easier for me to see where I was placing my stamps, because some of them obviously are cut off a little bit. And I coloured these in. I didn't want to colour the whole images in because I thought it was quite colourful already. So I just used my Atristro sparkle pens to colour the hearts in, and I've also coloured here the rainbow in on the tummy. That's all I did with these. So some are coloured in a little bit more than the others. And for the front, I've got this image. By the way, if these are still available, I'm sure I got these from Craft Stash, these stamps. I'm going to link to them below. With this one, I just coloured in the stars. I think I will, just after filming, colour this image here in as well. And I cut this one out as a heart. These are my Sizzix hard nesting dies. If they're available, I'm going to link to them below. So I cut the bigger one with different holographic silver cardstock, and then the smaller one here. And I've also already cut this thank you, and I've put some Spectrum Noir clear overlay on top to give it a bit of a shimmer, which goes nicely down with the holographic paper. So I thought I could do this all ahead of filming. You don't need to see me do this. And I now show you how the mechanism works. I hope what I have cut here, because I'm using the measurements from Sam Calcott, I hope that works, although my card is slightly slimmer and shorter. So for the concertina bit, you need a piece that is 11 inches wide and 3 3/4 inches high. And you score that. You can just about see that here. At 2 3/4, 5 1/2 and 8 1/4. And then you need to fold this, the middle one, you turn into a valley fold. So burnish this properly, and the other two are mountain folds. So you basically end up with an M shape like that. So, and for the other part, you need a piece that is 8 inches by 3 1/2, and you score this at 4 inches this way, and then you score it in the middle here, which is at 1 3/4 all the way through. So, and then you also make some notches on the long bit here at 2 1/4 and 5 3/4, and you turn this around and again make a notch at the top at 2 1/4 and 5 3/4. So what you need to do now is you get your ruler and you connect that notch here with that notch there going through the middle here of that cross. I'm going to do that and then I'll show you what it looks like. Could put a mat underneath, but I think it's fine this way. So make sure we go through the middle bit. Might have to realign mine a little bit. It's not hitting quite the middle, but I think it's fine. So, and then you do the same from this notch to the bottom notch. Bit difficult to see on the black cardstock. So I'll show you mine there. It's missing out 1 millimeter, but I don't think it matters. So now you need to fold this. I hope I'm getting this right. So we're folding it in the middle on the middle score line. Mine doesn't even look like it's in the middle there. I think it doesn't matter for the mechanism. Sometimes my scoreboard is a bit funny. Sometimes I've got the feeling it's not really properly, what's the word I'm looking for? As if the measurements aren't always correct. So, and then we need to fold these as well, the diagonals. I'm sure I've got a funny cardstock here that is quite soft, so I need to make sure I'm doing this neatly. Yeah, do this one first. If you've got doubts, lay it down on the table, and you want to make sure that when this panel is straight, that this one's straight too. And mine looks a bit wonky. Even if you fold or your score line wasn't quite correct, you can still remedy that here. So that looks a bit better. So I'm doing the same on this side now. So aligning this here, aligning the top, pressing this down and forcing that in my bolt folder. Yeah, that looks better now. So, and what you need to do now is, let me just make sure I'm folding the right things in. Yeah, it's already wanting to fold in anyway. So you fold these panels in like this, and then you've got this, as Sam Calkle says, a little house. And again, you want to make sure this is straight, this aligns, and if it doesn't align, you just put it into shape. Sorry if my camera wobbles. And just press this down and reinforce these. because you need this to open up. Mine does look a bit wonky. I hope it doesn't affect the mechanism. Yeah, because it's not quite in the middle there. I'll risk it. So what you then need to do is you need to put some glue, just thinking. Bear with me whilst I just check in the original video. Okay, so I've checked the original video. I had actually taken a note of how to glue this in, but I just realised I made a massive boo-boo. This image should not be sideways. It should be this way around, because this is how you open the card. I will probably peel it off, find a different, just peel it off, warm it up with my heat tool, and then peel it off as much as I can, and then find a different panel to put on top. And probably, if I can't rescue this, stamp this again and colour this in. It doesn't take long. So, I mean, I could do it this way, and then when the recipient opens it and it opens the other way, it doesn't really matter, but I'll show you why that is. So, one thing I forgot to do is we need to put the images on here. So, just checking which way around. This way around. So, you've got this shape here, the mountain fold here and the valley fold here. I'm sure this is how it is, because this is how it opens up. Yes, I've just checked that again to not make another boo-boo. So all I'm doing now, I'm quickly doing this off camera. I'm gluing these down here on these pieces here. I think these that face that way will have to go there. I'm going to spread them out a little bit. Maybe the busier ones on one side. I'll have a look. I quickly do this off camera. On this piece now, we need to mark where we put the glue. So on this top bit here, I've got my ruler here. I need to mark at 1 1/4. And I'm putting a pencil line here. See. And now I'm turning this over, and I'm doing the same on the top bit here. So now we need to put glue on that rectangle and on that rectangle. I'm just using my quick grab glue. You could use your collal if you want a bit of wiggle room. And I don't know if you can see that I haven't folded properly, is that I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it will work nonetheless. So now you put your, don't put your finger in the back. So now you put your finger, sugar, you put your finger in between there to keep these two apart, so that you now can slide this in there. So you want the top here to stick on the top here, and the bottom to stick on the bottom here, and it will overlap a little bit on the top and the bottom. Let me just press it down, and then I'll show you what I mean. Make sure it's straight as well. So you've got a bit of overhang on that side and a bit of overhang that side. So I'm pressing this down thoroughly, making sure it adheres, and I give that a minute to dry before I do anything else. I'm taking the excess off. I've got a bit of glue there just with my silicone tool here. This is the other end of my pokey tool. So I'm keeping that to dry now for a minute. Now we need to glue this into the card base. Make sure it's the right way around, where you want it. So I've got this facing that way. So now you need to put glue all over the triangle. Make sure the whole triangle is covered, but obviously not too much that it oozes out. I'm using my quick grab glue again. So I'm using my finger a little bit to spread it out, because you need it to adhere in all these areas. So now you put this against the score line. You want to spread it out evenly. I'm just leaning over the camera a little bit here. Make sure also it's straight. You've got a bit of wiggle room with a quick grab glue, not too much though. And make sure it gets there to the score line, but doesn't go over. Got a bit of excess there again, but that's okay, as long as I don't shut it down, and as long as it doesn't go on the top there. So tidy that up ideally beforehand. You can also put your finger in there, maybe even with a bone folder, just press it down. And again, I'm leaving this to dry for a minute. I'm now putting glue on the top triangle, same as before, plenty but not too much. Again, making sure it's going to the edges there, all the way there. And now we can close the card to grab that, and again I'm leaving that for 1 minute. So I hope this has worked, has dried properly. I've left it for a minute, and now when you open it up, it folds open like this. Let me just lift the camera again. So it folds back like that. Just actually, that catches a little bit. Probably have to help it a little bit. So there you go. It looks a bit wonky. Not quite sure why, but I think it doesn't matter. And the recipient can sit this up like this. But yeah, I'm wondering why this is wonky. It's probably my, you know, where it wasn't quite exact with my scoring tools, score lines. But yeah, I think this is nice anyway. As I said before, I will link to Sam Calcol's video so you watch hers as well and see another few tips what to watch out for. But yeah, I really like this. I probably will put another sentiment and something at the bottom here, because this is a thank you card for our cat sitter when we're on holiday. But yeah, I think this is really nice and very effective. But yeah, I have to, this catches a little bit, so that might be down to the measurements, because mine is a bit smaller, but maybe it's just here on the edge there. But yeah, it fits in there nicely, and this would definitely fit in a 6x6 envelope. So yeah, I think this is really nice. If you think so too, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, hopefully without a few hiccups, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that, and I'll see you soon with another video. I'm just popping in again. I've just been trying to take photos for my thumbnail, which is quite tricky to get this card into it. So I thought I'd just show you the finished card again in a little snippet here. I decided to leave the front as it is. I think it'll be fine. Obviously the recipient, when she opens the card, she will wonder a little bit, but because it's going to be displayed open, I think it doesn't matter. So I'll leave that as that. But as I said before, you can warm up the glue with your heat gun and then peel this off, and I could have put a fresh panel on the front, but it doesn't matter. So And when it opens up, it looks like this. I have added this thank you. These are these dies by Creative Craft Products. I'm going to link to them below. It's a modern sentiment die set, and I thought this finishes it out nicely. I've used a holographic cardstock there again and some black in the background. And there you go, and it folds up really nicely. You have to push it in just a little bit to go around there. And that's my finished card.